Hi everybody, my name is Michael Boney. I'm here with Shonda Groom and Carmelo Vanucci, and we're here to talk to you about Camden, provide a community assessment on the city. Camden, Arkansas is located about 100 miles south of Little Rock, Arkansas, and 25 miles north of El Dorado, Arkansas. When we began this assessment, we had to define what we were going to look at as a community. Doing so, we went to Stanhope and Lancaster and looked at their definition and saw it as a locality-based entity composed of systems of formal organizations reflecting societies, institutions, informal groups, and aggregates, which, a long story short, it's a community of place with geographical boundaries, and that's how we kind of wanted to make it easy and define where we were going to look at. So we looked at the city itself of Camden, Arkansas. And the population of Camden has a total of 11,836 residents within the city limits. This has declined about 10% since 2000. Mainly because some of the industry in town has folded up their doors and went elsewhere or just out of business altogether. We have a moderately diverse race. African Americans are the majority and comprise 54.3% of the population, where Caucasians are just under 41%. People that report more than one race are actually the next most diverse population. They comprise 2.4%, more than Hispanics, American Indians, and Asian Americans combined in the area. And the median age of Camden is 39.5 years old, just actually a little bit younger as far as the median age is concerned than the rest of the state, which is approximately 42.2 years old. One thing unique to Camden, as opposed to the surrounding areas, is our older population, older than 65, is a little bit higher than the state average at 17.4% of the population. And persons under 18-year-old are 25.3% of the population versus 6.8% respectively. The median cost of a home in Camden is $65,742. Now, for the rest of the state, the median home average is $106,300. It's a poorer area, and we'll talk more about that in a moment when we get to economic systems. But the median wage in Camden is only $29,383 as of 2012. Now, the cost of living here is a little lower, and for the average of $494 per month, you can find rental properties that you can utilize. But honestly, $300, $325, you can find adequate housing, and that kind of helps with some of the poverty issues that are in the area. Because of the number of folks that live here being below the poverty level, the local housing authority tells us that about 30% of the people receive some kind of public assistance for housing. There are several housing projects in the area, and in addition to this, some individuals qualify for what's called Section 8 if there are no housing units available in the housing projects. It's an income-based rental assistance that allows people to rent homes that have been certified based on what they're able to pay according to their income. The family situations in Camden, like much of the South and probably a lot of the United States, is ideally utilizing a nuclear family concept, a mom, dad, and the children. And, you know, of course, not everyone has this arrangement, but this is by and large the main philosophy for living here in the area. Most women choose to have their children in the hospital. There may be a few that have alternative methods, that have home births and use midwives, but really the vast majority come to the hospital to have their children. If there's some kind of high-risk pregnancies, they have to be diverted, usually to Little Rock, because we don't really have any gynecological support that can, and OB support that can handle those kind of problems. So they go to the larger hospitals in the larger metropolitan area. Excuse me. Families, you know, when children are born, they tend to celebrate the birth of the child. They show up in mass at the hospital, and it's a time of happiness and celebration. Everyone wants to hold the baby, be around them, congratulate the parents. Showers are given to give the expectant mother things that she needs for the child. And as the children are reared, extended families, you know, many times come in and assist with this. Family and close friends serve as godparents. They're parafamilial uncles and aunts that usually close friends of one of the parents. Usually they're close friends of the family, and the children learn to call them aunt or uncle because they do spend so much time in the children's lives. So it really takes a village, and many times that's what you have with the families in the area. Transportation in our area is usually by a privately owned automobile. There's no taxi services, no chauffeur services of any kind. There are no bus services. You generally utilize walking, bicycling, but mainly personal automobile. Due to the fact that Camden's very spread out and kind of a rural area, walking's not really practical to get to where one wants to get anywhere in town, so they usually either, if they don't have a vehicle, they have to catch a ride with a friend or an acquaintance or carpool to work with co-workers. And this can make finding gainful employment if you do not have an automobile kind of difficult. However, most people have their own vehicle here in Camden, like most rural areas. Traffic's never congested. The road system's well ordered and maintained and laid out. There's a county road crew that maintains all county roads outside the city limits. But within Camden, there is a road crew that works for the city of Camden, and they keep all the roads clear of debris and maintained and in good order. If, just of note, there is a service that provides transportation to those who are on Medicare and Medicaid sometimes who can't afford their transportation, they're homebound or whatever, they can seek this out through the senior center, and they are able to get rides to doctor appointments if necessary. Economic systems in Camden vary kind of greatly across the board. In the 1920s, International Paper became the dominant employer in the area by building a paper mill in an area south of Camden proper called Cullendale. It extended the city limits, and now Cullendale, as it has been for many years, is an area of Camden within the city limits. But in 2001, the paper mill closed its doors and International Paper left. Other employers is a large industrial park to the east of town, actually crosses over into another county, but it's mainly considered part of Camden. And they manufacture and test war material and other munitions that are used to fight. General Dynamics, Lockheed, Fault Systems, all of these and many more produce and employ the vast majority of the people in Camden. They are the single largest employer of all purple people in Camden. The forest industry is another big employer and brings a lot of money to this town. Once International Paper closed its doors, many mills, such as lumber mills, chip mills, came into being, and they handle the majority of the timber that used to go to International Paper. They feed logging crews, timber plantation owners, so that helped to offset some of the losses from International Paper, which lost almost 400 jobs in the area. The healthcare, retail, and food service sectors capture the rest of the, or most of the rest of the employment there in Camden and drive the economy. Healthcare is a very large employer. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But of note is another significant industry that went down was Arquest Incorporated, which was also located in the Highland Industrial Park. They made private label diapers, which sold to Walmart, AFES, Kroger, other large retailers, their own private label of diapers. When this went down, there was over 300 jobs lost in that area. And these two industries, between the paper mill and Arquest Incorporated, were probably the most significant drivers in the reduction of the 10% population lost. Currently, the unemployment rate for Camden is 9.3%. As you can see, it hasn't really recovered completely from these losses of these two large employers. There were others that went down during this time, mostly due to the economy that kind of went south in 2008. However, much of the losses have been absorbed by the increase in production in the military-industrial complex east of town. As the war on terror took off and got more intense, more munitions were needed, research and development increased, and many more jobs were created. And this helped a lot by bringing others to the area, many times veterans that were seeking employment from all over the country, and they were able to land positions at this large industrial park. As far as protective systems in Camden, have a robust police department. The city police department employs 22 police officers. The county, Ouachita County Sheriff's Office, which also patrols city streets and areas as well as outlying county areas, employ 30 officers, plus auxiliary officers that work part-time, just as they can or as they're needed. One thing that has developed in recent years is a brand new detention facility in Camden that actually was placed at the culinary area and is home for the Ouachita County Sheriff's Office and the circuit courts. They receive prisoners that from overloaded jails out of town, such as Pulaski County and Texarkana, and have a female holding facility. And for a fee, they're able to maintain these prisoners, and so it become an extra source of income and helps fund the police force even better, provide them with the latest equipment. So in addition to what you would normally have in a small town as far as a police force, they have the added benefit of that. That being said, crime in Camden is slightly higher than in the rest of the state. And I say slightly, I may even say significantly. You have a 1 in 55 chance of becoming a victim of violent crime in Camden, Arkansas. And that's compared to 1 in 208 for the rest of the state of Arkansas. So, being employed in the emergency room, I can tell you this is probably true. Although there aren't very many gun crimes that we see come through Camden, we see quite a few stabbings and many physical altercations, many times perpetrated with a club or some kind of blunt force object. Property crimes, you have a rate of 1 in 20. That's your chances of being involved in theft or having your property vandalized. If you'll notice, compared to the surrounding areas, Camden, the higher the number in this particular statistical analysis, indicates a higher prevalence of crime. If you see Camden, which we have situated at the top for ease of sight, is higher than in most of the surrounding areas. The only higher areas we have are El Dorado, which is to the south, and Prescott, which is far to our west. There are 3 fire stations located in Camden. They're strategically located across town. You have one small number 2 fire station in the Cullendale area. You have a fire station they call number 3, which is located on the Highway 79 on the south side of town. And then you have the main number 1 fire station, and that's located in downtown Camden. There are 30 full-time firefighters, counting 1 secretary. There are 20 volunteers available to respond at any given time to any fire anywhere in the county, actually. Fire hydrants are located throughout Camden. You can see here, their main, as he's blowing one out, what they call, they do this twice a year. This is part of an effort that helps maintain Camden as a Class 4 fire department and reduces the load of homeowners insurance. So Camden is very well protected against fire. Now, one issue that can be brought up is, of course, we have this industrial park where we have a lot of military munitions. It's not uncommon for there to be a fire in this area, and when these things catch on fire, they tend to be pretty significant. If this happens just every so often, every several years it seems, you can actually hear the explosion in Camden, which is several miles out from this industrial park if one of these things catches on fire. So, you know, a emergency response plan is always maintained via the emergency room, Camden Fire Department, other local emergency services, and with all the things that are stored at the industrial park. So there are protocols in place and collaboration that helps mitigate some of the dangers afforded to the community through the production of these munitions out in this area. As far as food service supply system, there's 10 full-service restaurants in Camden. There are many more fast food franchises that operate and provide high-calorie, low-nutrient foods, and several other small food service vendors that operate sporadically throughout the city. The food served by these services are not considered healthy. It contributes to the problem with obesity. We live in the South here, and people like Southern cuisine. We like our fish fried, and we put enough pork fat into the vegetables to make them fairly unhealthy. So this is an issue. Now, one thing that there is in Camden, 4 large grocery stores, and they provide pre-cooked food as well, many times with healthy offerings such as baked chicken, roasted chicken, things of that nature, and large fresh produce areas in each of these grocery stores. So the opportunities are there to make healthy food choices. Many times, though, they're not necessarily utilized the way they could by residents in the area. The cost of food is comparable to other areas in the South Arkansas region, but the fact that 26% of the residents live at or below the national poverty level, oh, I'm sorry, strike that, 33%, that makes it more difficult for some of them to make healthy food choices. Sometimes they have to choose between quantity of food with the quality of the nutrient density, and have to get the processed food products that will go a long ways and last a little while on their pantry shelves. Religious groups, religion's a strong influence in South Arkansas, and Camden's no different. Predominantly Christianity, and the majority of the churches in town have Protestant religion roots. The majority of the churches are Baptist, with 53% being Southern Baptist, followed by United Methodist at 16%, Missionary Baptist, there we go again, 8%, Assemblies of God are 7.6%, Church of Christ comes in at 5.4%, American Baptist Association 4%, Presbyterian at 3.4%. There is one Catholic church that accounts for 1.3% of parishioners there in town. Because of the strong Christian presence, there's been a large, the area has been largely conservative in their values. I can recall up to about 2 decades ago, even all the stores in Camden mostly were closed on Sunday. About the only thing you could get from a store was a grocery store, which everyone always went to the grocery store on Sunday afternoon after they had met with their families after church, and McDonald's, and that only got here in probably the early 1980s. So now, though, Walmart and just about every business in town, retailer-wise, is open on Sundays, and moving more to that 24-hour cycle that inhabits the rest of the country. Now, the educational system, we're slightly below average down in Camden. Adults less than 25-year-olds in the area have a high school graduate or equivalent. Of 83.5%. Only 16%, though, hold a bachelor's degree, and 5% have a graduate or professional degree. So, although having a high school diploma is valued in the area, higher level education is not very sought after, it seems, and this probably is a significant contributor to some of the poverty level that we have there in Camden. There's 2 public school systems. Back in 1992, there were 3 school systems, but Camden High School and Fairview High School, the public school systems of the 2, consolidated and made for one large public school. Built a new building, and they really have a state-of-the-art school there. But of course, it doesn't come without its growing pains. But now, at this time, every child that goes to school there has only known one public school, so most of those problems have passed, and that school system's going strong. Harmony Grove School District is a district across the river, what they call on the east side of the river. A little bit more of a rural school, but a very good school district. They have about 400 students and operate 2 schools, a high school and what they call elementary school, which is grades K through 6. There's 2 private schools in town. Both are faith-based, Victory Christian School and Camden Christian Academy. And there's a community college in the industrial park known as Southern Arkansas University Tech. It has one of the, to be honest, one of the greatest graphic design and media departments in the state. So they have a pretty good thriving area out there across the river. There's also vocational training at the Camden Career Center, and agricultural education is offered at both of the public school systems. So well-rounded educational opportunities are there. We just have to do more to encourage higher level education. As far as the health system, there's a main inpatient treatment center there in Camden is the Ouachita County Medical Center. It's a critical access hospital located in the proper part of Camden. They offer inpatient services, a 30-bed med-surg floor. There's hospice respite care there for some of the providers. They offer hospice services and home health services through Doctor's Home Care. If a patient requires more specialized treatment, then they have to go to a higher level of care, usually in Little Rock, at one of the larger hospitals there that have specialty providers, or El Dorado, Pine Bluff, and even Hot Springs or Texarkana at times. Most nephrology care, as a matter of fact, is transferred to Hot Springs. There are 2 internal medicine clinics, an OBGYN clinic, and a urology clinic close to Camden, as well as 4 surgeons that work in the area and a large family clinic where the majority of people go for their primary care, Ouachita Valley Family Clinic. And it's owned by Baptist Health System. There's 4 skilled nursing and rehab facilities in the area, and due to the increased population over 65, these usually stay to capacity and provide excellent care for older individuals. There are 6 pharmacies in the area and 4 dentists in town practice. And most of these facilities in town, due to the economic disparity in the area, accept Medicaid and our kids' insurance. So there is access to health care for the disadvantaged. Mental health services are provided by South Arkansas Regional Health, and Day Springs also has a behavioral health center there in Camden. They provide outpatient care. If a person has acute psychoses or other disorders as such, they're usually brought to the emergency room and transferred to a larger mental health facility, such as Levi or the Bridgeway, or things of that nature. The local health department is also available to all those in the area. They provide help with family planning services, WIC services, disease control. They're part of the disaster preparedness prevention teams there in the area. They help with and really maintain the birth control or birth certificate, death certificates in the county. Disease control, test wells, swimming pools, everything you expect the health department to do. They have a really strong health department there in Camden, Arkansas. There's a picture of many of the people that work at Ouachita County Medical Center. They call it the safety net of the community. You can Communication system in Camden, there's a local daily paper that comes out once a week, or it comes out daily, but once a week on Sunday. There's a regional paper that consolidates with the newspapers from El Dorado and Magnolia. Those areas, due to their proximity to each other, form what's known as the Golden Triangle. They have a Sunday edition that's a little bit larger, a little bit more in depth, color photos and whatnot. There's also 3 local radio stations that are owned by the same company. They all have different formats, so between those 4 entities right there, you can get information out to the entire public, just whoever you want to, however fast you need to get it to them. The 3 local radio stations, instantaneously in case of emergency. Just about everyone there in town is covered. Of course, there's a cable television provider as well as satellite television, the Dish and Direct, and those guys with the tiny dishes. Also, many people, of course, get their news now from the internet. It's got a robust high-speed internet system there in Camden. As far as recreation programs, we're in the South, so hunting and fishing, other outdoor recreation activities abound. Just about everybody hunts. I believe first week of hunting season is a holiday during deer season. Duck hunting is a big deal. Fishing, the river there affords multiple fishing opportunities, along with the little river lakes that accompany it, the Oxbow Lakes. So, the hospital always has to be prepared for injuries incurred with situations like this, snake bite and other issues. There's a river walk in the last few years that's developed downtown. People can go down and enjoy, and it's a nice little walking area connected with another area called Sandy Beach. So many opportunities to enjoy the river. It's kind of beautiful, so good place of peace for folks to go. And they, on Friday nights in the summertime, they offer free movies to people on the Riverwalk. There's an amphitheater, and other programs are offered there. So really good place for Camden. They can be proud of that. There's several festivals, most notable the Daffodil Festival in the spring. People come from all over the country to view the beautiful daffodil gardens in the area. It provides a nice recreational facility in the spring. And there's 3 local fitness facilities. And for our older population, at one of the facilities, the Silver Sneakers program is offered, and that allows the older folks to come and get exercise every day and have fellowship with some of their friends and even meet people they didn't know before, and all while getting a little healthier. And Medicare covers this in many instances, so really good deal there. Environmental systems, the air quality is usually pretty good. When the paper mill went down, a big reason why that facility closed was because the grandfather clauses in their environmental contracts had run up, and it was going to be really expensive to update their facility, so they went down, and this improved the air quality in the area a great deal. And that thing's been gone for about 12 years now, and so the air quality's gotten a lot better in Camden. In the spring, though, we do have lots of pine plantations, and that, along with the hardwood trees and everything else pollinating, wild grasses and flowers, it can get pretty tough to breathe in the springtime. The Washita River is where the drinking waters come from. It comes to the Camden Water Utilities, and they purify it and send it out. And people pay a monthly bill for this, price per thousand, and it's relatively inexpensive. There's trash collection provided by the city government. They collect the fees for this through the water bill, and this garbage is collected, taken to a transition facility, and shipped out to another landfill out of town. There's a recycling center available so that we don't pollute our environment. You can take your batteries and other things to this center, and they dispose of them properly. And most people in Camden use natural gas. There's the main heat source for heating homes, although about 1/3 of the homes in Camden are all electric. Most use natural gas. And to combat, one thing that they did to combat the West Nile disease that had come into the area through mosquito contact. They have a vector control program that has a small truck that sprays on a certain schedule in the neighborhood throughout the spring, summer, and fall, and really keeps mosquito abatement. It's a pretty effective program. Thank you guys very much.
Hi, this is Donna Gurung, and I'm going to talk about some of the problems that we identified in our community, that is Camden, Arkansas. For two priority problems, I'm going to present short-term and long-term goals, nursing interventions, and strategies that could be used in implementing those nursing interventions. Here I have problems listed based on the priority level. The first one is obesity, specifically elderly obesity. Second one is economic disparity / poverty that is below the state poverty level. Third one is higher than average crime rate in the state level. And fourth one is below state level education. Short-term goal for priority problem obesity is clients will have increasing knowledge about the merits in maintaining lower body mass index (BMI) and the risks associated with the failure to do so. And the long-term goal is clients will maintain less than 25 BMI level. The first nursing intervention for the problem obesity is providing education on obesity and maintaining a healthy BMI. Strategies can be nurses can reach out to the community regarding obesity through various community events such as health fair and school education, and also nursing students can also provide teaching on small focus high-risk people through teaching project. The second nursing intervention is nurses can discuss findings to local city officials to help them guide to provide more infrastructures to the community to maintain healthy lifestyles. Strategies would be attending city board and coalition meetings, and also discussing findings with Camden Walkability Improvement Commissions. The second problem I have here is economic disparity / poverty. Some of the short-term goals associated with that problem are clients will know different services provided by the government that fulfill their economic needs. Clients who are living in poverty will seek appropriate governmental help when needed. Clients will develop a sense of pride, understanding that public assistance is a means to an end, not a way of life. Long-term goals are clients will have stable economic status, which will decrease the rate of poverty level compared to the state level 1. Clients will have higher level living standards. Nursing intervention related to economic disparity / poverty is helping clients fulfill immediate needs through education and public assistance. And strategy would be nurses can provide information to area health care providers about public assistance contacts. The second nursing intervention is raising students' expectations on standard of living. And strategy will be nurses can collaborate with the area youth center to identify disadvantaged youth to provide solutions to barriers of education and motivation for higher achievements.